Building this content and marketing system for your online coaching business is difficult to do, but if you build it correctly, it will bring you in leads and sales for your coaching business every single month repeatedly. Now, the reason that it works so well right now is because inherently trust is low in the online marketing space. But this content system is purposely built to combat that low trust. I've used it for the last 12 months, and it's helped me generate over $700,000 for my own coaching business. But more importantly, my clients are absolutely smashing it with this as well. My client Kat recently left her full-time career as a teacher, and now she travels the world with her husband, and she makes over £7,000 a month using this system. There's 5 parts to it, and in this video, I'm going to show you each of the 5 parts so that you can implement it into your own business as well. Okay, the first part of the system is probably the thing that's helped me the most in getting rid of that feeling of anxiety and worry about where the next lead, where the next client's coming from for my coaching business. It used to feel like I was at one of those gambling machines in Las Vegas, pulling on the lever, posting content, and just kind of hoping that this post was going to get some traction, was going to bring in an inquiry, and was going to get me a client. But it was that unpredictability of whether or not the post was going to do its job that creates that feeling of just sheer worry, like, is this going to work this week or is it not? And now what I do instead, the first part of the system, is running really simple profile visit ads on Instagram. I call them growth tax ads because they are essentially a tax that I place on my own business to ensure that I am continually growing my audience and my ecosystem. I reinvest 10% of all of my business's profits every single month into these profile visit ads to ensure that I have a steady, predictable flow of new people coming in and seeing my content. The second part of the system was designed to fix the problem where content is getting attention, but there was no natural next step for people to take. And this is kind of like having a shop window and lots of people walking past the shop and maybe even looking into the shop at your products and your services, but nobody ever coming in to inquire about buying one of the products or services. Like, there's no good getting all of this attention, which is essentially what posting on social media that gets lots of views without a next step is like. You get all of this attention, but there's no next natural step. And so what I did to combat this is I created really simple ManyChat automations that are attached to all of my posts, and it gives people the next natural step. If people want to go deeper on the things that I'm teaching in my content, they can comment a keyword and they can get a free resource, a lead magnet, a course, or whatever it happens to be to move people into that next natural step. The third part of the system is all about conditioning my email subscribers to think, feel, and act a certain way when they see my name popping up in the email inbox. Think about that one friend that you've probably got. We've all got this friend. The only time they text you is when they want something from you. They've got a problem, they want to borrow some money, and their name pops up, they drop you a text, right? And you can almost guarantee that they're going to ask for something the second you see their name popping up in your texts. We kind of create that same conditioning with our email subscribers if we're not careful. If the only time that we email them is because we're running a promotion, we want to make a call to action, we want to try and get inquiries and clients, we condition our subscribers to tune out from reading our emails, to not open your emails. And this is why gradually over time, people and coaches who grow their email lists, they get lower and lower open rates on their emails because they only email their list when they want something. So what I've started doing, and part 3 of this system, is to send 5 weekly emails every single week that are consciously designed to make my subscribers happy, to entertain them, to motivate them, to inspire them, or to give them something valuable and free as a resource to condition them to open their emails. And what this allows me to do is to make more regular calls to actions and actually make withdrawals from my email list because I've built so much reciprocity with them. Part number 4 of this system is to ensure that my audience has a deep understanding of who I am, what I'm about, and how I can help people before I ever have a private conversation with them. If you think about short form content as almost like a movie trailer, you might see a movie trailer and it creates a little bit of an emotion, it creates a buzz, it creates a spark to want to watch the full movie. but it's not significant enough for you to build a real connection and understanding with the characters in the movie. You have to actually go and watch the full movie to truly understand what these people are like, what makes them tick, what their story is. And so short form content is really like the movie trailer, and long form content is what helps us build deep connections with the characters in the movies. The fourth part of the system is to create weekly long form content that lets my audience go deeper with me, lets them spend more time with me. This ultimately nurtures my audience, it adds a huge amount of value to them, but really importantly, it enables them to understand exactly what I'm about before I ever have a conversation with them, which makes sales easier, and it makes actually getting a higher quality client who knows exactly what we do a lot better as well. The fifth and final part of this system was born out of the idea that very rarely does somebody go from just consuming free content to paying lots and lots of money for high ticket products and services. There has to be a way of bridging the gap. You can think about buying a car. You know, I've got a bit of an itch at the minute. I really want to buy a Porsche 911 GT3. Now, every time I see one of those, which is very rare that I see one of these driving around on the streets, but if I do, my jaw drops to the floor. I've got to have it, and it creates this sense of urgency within me. Now, I trust the brand Porsche. I've had 2 Porsches previously. I know I want a Porsche 911 GT3. But even if I was going to buy one, I would still want to test drive it first, okay? You still want to feel it, you still want to experience it, you want to make sure that it's the right fit before you make such a large and significant investment. That's why the fifth part of the system is running micro offers. I do this every single month. I open the door for 1 week of the month to a select few people to come and work with us on a micro offer, where we give people a taste and a flavor for what it's like in the program, what it's like to work with me one-to-one. And that makes taking a smaller leap of faith for people a little bit easier. And then essentially what we do is, once we've worked with these clients, we offer an invitation to the people that we want to continue working with to stay on board for the longer term program, which is where we make the high ticket sales. So the micro offer has been an absolute game changer for getting people off the fence, experiencing what we do in this low trust environment, and letting them test drive the service. That's it, that's the 5 systems. If you've enjoyed this and you want to learn more about my model, then I really recommend watching this playlist, because in these 6 videos, I go deep on each of those areas, so you can learn a bit more about each of the sections. And if you want to learn more about working with me one-to-one, I'll leave all of the instructions for that in the description below, and I'll see you soon. Peace and love.